Now here's another one over Brisbane, southeast Queensland. And as you can see, there's one question you've got to ask. Why does these chemtrails expand and they don't dissipate? If it was icicles, they dissipate.
We had done about what's in our skies.
It seemed like some mornings it was just crisscrossing the whole sky. It was just like a giant checkerboard.
Bill Nichols snapped several photos of the strange clouds from his home in Stamps, Arkansas. They begin as normal contrails from a jet engine, but do not fade away like a normal contrail. Soon after, he saw particles in the air.
Because we'd see it drop to the ground in a haze.
Nichols then noticed the material collecting on the ground.
This is water and stuff that I collected in bowls. I had it set out in my backyard on my dad's pickup truck.
KSLA News 12 had the sample tested at a lab. The results? A high level of barium, 6.8 parts per million, more than 3 times the toxic level set by the EPA.
Armed with these lab results about the high levels of barium found in our sample, we decided to contact the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. They told us that yes, these levels are very unusual, but at the same time they added the caveat that proving the source is a whole other matter.
Barium is a hallmark of other chemtrail testing, which even attracted attention.
Changes have happened many, many times now, thousands of times. And so by the time it gets from Mexico City to South Texas and San Antonio and then Austin and Kansas and New York and Montreal and on airplanes all over the world, it has mutated until it is no longer as deadly as it was or as harmless. Now, talking to doctors, and that's why the particular doctor I talked to said, well, it looks like if it does start killing people in the U.S., then...
Have you wondered why the media ignores it? Have you wondered why hundreds of thousands of complaints in US to the government and their defence have been ignored, or they get some silly response, a ridiculous response? Have you wondered why they won't debate it? Well, I'll tell you why. Our media here is also controlled by the same powers, and here the media are told not to respond to or not to promote anything that has been labelled a conspiracy or controversy. But there's a problem. Who first labelled it a conspiracy or controversy? Who were the first organisations to say that it was a controversy or conspiracy? You will find, when you do your research, that it is directions from Agenda 21 to every government in the western part of the world. If they were contrails out of the exhaust of a jet, they would have dispersed a long time ago. You can see their evidence still there, and that's about 20 minutes now, right over the Gold Coast. The unusual way that these chemtrails are dispersing right on top of us here at the Gold Coast. And we'll have that tested if we can to see if there is barium and plasma with viruses in them. Now I'm just driving along here on the 26th of May in the Gold Coast, and as you can see, blatantly we have chemtrails going on right here on the Gold Coast, and if we have another surge of the flu within the next 2 or 3 days, you'll know why. Now some people are saying that the chemtrails are contrails, con for condensation, but let me tell you something, condensation breaks up very, very quickly in a few moments. You're looking at the chemtrails here on the Gold Coast, and we're on the 25th, been happening on the 25th, and today the 26th of May, and as you can see, they're vigorously plastering our skies here on the Gold Coast. Now, if we have a surge of this so-called flu within the next 3 days, you're now going to realise why, because they want to disrupt the transport system, disrupt the education system, disrupt everybody's life. Well, maybe you don't think that there's any connection but they first started spraying heavily in the sky over the Gold Coast and Brisbane on the 23rd and the 24th and the 25th of May. So here we are 3 or 4 days later, and what do we have in the newspapers 4 days later? Now this is the 4th chemtrail over the Gold Coast, and it's now about midday on Sunday the 31st of May. So we can definitely see there will be an increase in the flu virus hitting this. Well, there's the chemtrail that was dropped about 20 minutes ago, up high. It's now disintegrating and dispersing right over Surfers Paradise. This is Sunday the 31st of May. Well, there's the chemtrail that was dropped over the hinterland of the Gold Coast area about 20 minutes ago. It's now descending slowly and it's disintegrating and dispersing right over Surfers Paradise. And this is the 31st of May, and that will be one of the chemtrails that's dropping the swine virus or the flu virus onto this area. If we wait and see within the next 3 or 4 days, there will be a surge in the flu over the Gold Coast. There is another one that is actually being sprayed by a jet up there right now, as you can see. So that's the 4th one today on the 31st of May. Now we have one of the greatest contests going on to instill fear in the public, close down the tourism industry, close down schools, close down businesses, and here we have the results of the well-organised commercial con to get people to get so fearful and so upset that they're going to rush out and they're going to buy a lot of chemicals and antiviral type medicines and rush to the doctor when the first thing they get is a little sneeze, a little cough. And we've been getting sneezes and coughs for every year for 100 years at the cold winter months. And this is the greatest con on the public, as I said before in our previous report, and here you're looking at it again. How come every newspaper in the country is carrying these pictures? You've just seen in this report that there was at least 5 that we know of chemtrails being sprayed over the Gold Coast and Brisbane area today, the 31st of May. So if that's the very first one on the 27th of the 5th, how come we now have to close down schools because it's spread? The virus is spread, so they want to close the schools. Well, haven't they shot themselves in the foot? They're talking about something that hasn't even happened yet. Now allowing for the incubation of the virus that they're dumping on you, you can expect by next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, say by the 3rd, 4th and 5th of June, we're going to have a surge in this flu virus hitting the public. Sure, a great percentage of us Australians have been hoodwinked here, but I would urge you to do 2 things. You go into Google and you do a thorough search on chemtrails killing birds, for example. Chemtrails in every country. Do a search, come up with your own conclusions. You're not silly, and you're not going to be deluded by the media silence about it or the government silence about it. And if you're serious to do something about it and you want to put a stop to this, we're going to have a rally on the Gold Coast on Sunday the 14th of June. And the address to email, if you'd like to come along, is coming up on your screen now.